Good morning, everybody. John Panic with the Mojave Valley Daily News, and this is your Daily Dose for Tuesday, March 23rd. Remember, the Daily Dose is brought to you by the Tri-State Radiology Center in Fort Mojave, Arizona. One of the many reasons why you and your physician should choose Tri-State Radiology Center is that, as an independent imaging center, the cost is substantially less than hospital-based facilities. Tri-State Radiology is conveniently located in Fort Mojave. Call them today for an appointment at 928-460-7226. And remember, at Tri-State Radiology Center, your image means the world to us. All right, it is Taco Tuesday. We got Lawrence in here along with our editor-in-chief, Mike Boyd. And on Taco Tuesday is brought to you by Street Tacos. They're down there over by O'Leary's. You see we got some images up here of some of their food. Remember, on Taco Tuesday, if you mention the Daily Dose, that you heard about it on the Daily Dose, and get over there, you get $1 tacos. I think they're open 5:30. But get there right away, because since they've been on our show, they have been running out of food. So I don't think there's anything worse than showing up to a taco truck and they are out of tacos. So get down there and check out some of their food and mention the Daily Dose. All right, let's move on. Our top story here: Carlson, Texas-style failure unlikely here. You see a picture of Tyler Carlson, the CEO at Mojave Electric. After the disaster that they had out in Texas, I went and spoke with Mr. Carlson about, is that something that could happen here? Because the people in Texas were taken by surprise for the most part. It's kind of a long story, but it's packed full of information. Basically, while he can't guarantee something like that won't happen here, they have a lot of safeguards over at Mojave Electric to prevent something like that happening. So if you read the story, it'll tell you about how while we don't have to worry about the extreme cold and snow that they had, we do have a lot of the same issues with heat, and we could run into the same thing provided what happened in Texas was a series of things that happened. So it was the weather, and it was not being prepared, and it was not having backups, and some of the renewables failed. So the plants that were shuttered because renewables took their place, they couldn't get them up fast enough to provide what they needed. And we also talked quite a bit about deregulation and regulation. So back in September, October, somewhere in there, we talked quite a bit about the Arizona Corporation Commission and the new commissioners, or the people that were on the ballot, and how some of them were in favor of deregulation. The story kind of lays out why deregulation is a bad idea, in his opinion, and so please check it out. All right, in our breaking news, today's breaking news is brought to you by New Image Primary Care, now scheduling appointments within 7 days, so call them today for an appointment. Crampton threatens to quit, crushed. So Lori Crampton, who is the last holdover of the previous board, was voted out of her seat on the Health Benefits Trust panel. And at that point, when she was voted out, she got up, grabbed her stuff, left the meeting, and said she was going to quit. She didn't really quit yet formally, because she hasn't presented a letter of resignation. Dr. Cardone, the president of the board, is going to, according to the story, is going to sit down and talk with her. Like I said, Lori Crampton is the last board member of the old board, the old Carrie Burgess and some of those other people board. She's been holding on here. I think she's been on it for like 10 years. She's been on the board. And since Dr. Cardone and Carrie Faring and Ashley Garrett and Artie Loxman have all come on, they've been kind of looking at some of the expenses and some of the things that have happened. One of those expenses is the health insurance trust for the teachers and staff of the school district. And they signed a 2-year contract a year ago. Since that happened, there's been some changes in it, and it's caused the health coverage costs to go up about 7%. So the school board decided that they want to take a look at it. They had some questions about why this wasn't brought to them earlier, because this change was made last, I think November is when it happened, and they hadn't heard anything about it. This trust hadn't even met since, I want to say it was March of last year. So they decided that Dr. Cardone decided that he wanted Carrie Faring to take her place, Lori Crampton's place on this trust. There's one member from the Crushed Board, one member from the Bullhead City School District Board, and then 3 members at large in the community. So she was unhappy and decided she wanted to leave. In the same meeting, they talked about administrative contracts. You have a bunch of administrators whose contracts are expiring. They voted to renew Steve Lawrence's. He's the principal at Mojave High School, along with the Crushed Academy principal, Troy Heaton. There's 19 administrative contracts that have to be decided before April 15th. They decided to hold off on some of them, including the contracts for the administrators at the Anderson Auto Group, including Ed Catalfamo. And then they also decided to not continue with contracts for Ronnie Hart, who is the district business manager. She's the finance lady for the school district and the Anderson Auto Fieldhouse. And then also Lance Ross. Lance has been the director of public and community relations for Crushed and for the Bullhead City School District. According to this, Ross will continue in that role for the Bullhead City School District next year, but not for Crushed. All right, moving on. MCC instructor gives presentation at conference. This is a pretty interesting story if you check it out. This is Andra Goldberg. She's the Computer Information Systems faculty member at Mojave Community College. She made a presentation at the Adult Higher Education Alliance's 45th Annual Conference. It's real interesting if you have someone or if you yourself are going on to get your degree at MCC, some information about how to alleviate some of your costs by doing online course materials rather than getting books. I don't know about you guys. Man, Mike, how bad is it? You're already spending all this money going to college, but then you also have $100 text.
College was not as expensive when I was going to school.
That was some time ago, though. Me too.
It was some time ago, but I remember when I went to JUCO, it was a couple $100 for tuition and less than that for the books. So
oh my God.
times have definitely changed, and I think anything that's going to save somebody some money when they're looking to further their education is an excellent idea.
It's a great story, very educational, and we are lucky to have some of the people that we have as far as MCC for sure. So, all right. Our business page, and I almost never cover anything on our business page, but we got some great stories here on the business page. The first one, Powell says economy recovering, but Fed support still needed. It's a very in-depth story on how where we're at, even with the impact of the coronavirus, the economy has been recovering pretty well. And then right underneath it, stocks soar 75% in historic 12-month run. So go to the business page. A lot of good information, a lot of positive information today on there. And then we also, on the nation and world, Biden eyes $3 trillion package for infrastructure, schools, and families. Some more good stuff on the heels of his $1.9 trillion COVID relief package. He's got another package that it's very preliminary. There's not a whole lot of details in here other than some stuff that they've been talking about. One of the things, coincidentally, is free community college tuition. They'll pick that up. But it's like $1 trillion for infrastructure, and then a bunch of relief for schools and families and that kind of thing. In sports, we have some pictures here, and Lawrence is going to bring it up, of River Valley senior Chloe Spitzer. She is a pitcher for the River Valley High School softball team. They won 19-0 Friday, and we got a little more information in the paper about it. But first of all, she threw a no-hitter against Yuma Catholic, striking out 13. She also had a couple of hits and an RBI. CC, I don't know if you got the picture of her swinging up there. That's a great picture. I don't know, somebody down at the school provided that for us, but how you got the bat and the ball and her perfect form, very nice. But this is the second game. Their first game, they blew out Parker, I think 30-1, somewhere along that lines, and she pitched that as well. So she's given up 2 hits in 2 games, including a no-hitter, and she struck out something like 20. So congratulations to her. I have a feeling that she may be in line for our Athlete of the Week this week. I'm just saying that's a pretty dominant performance. So congratulations. And then we also have a column here by Jim Luxick, our sports editor. Some information in there, including his, well, first of all, he talks about Mojave High School wrestlers, and a tip of the cap to them. But he also has his prediction on the on March Madness. I don't know if I'm in line with what Jim's got going on there. I'm a Big Ten guy there, so they've been getting whooped. All right, on to weather. Oh, I forgot to mention, sports was brought to you by Mike Lewick at Desert Time Realty. Call Mike today for the service you deserve and the people you trust when buying or selling your home. Weather is brought to you by Living Waters Hospice, your hometown hospice. Together we can make a difference. All right, it still says a 50% chance of rain today, although coming in this morning. Lawrence, did you see any rain?
Nope.
Yeah, it looks pretty nice out there. Today it's supposed to be up to 71. Over the next few days, we're going to be in the mid to upper 70s. And then on Saturday, they used to call it, back in Wisconsin, they called it a Chamber of Commerce Day. 80 and sunny. So it sounds to me like the perfect weather. So go out and get some things done. Well, that is it for today. Remember, this is brought to you by the Tri-State Radiology Center. The Tri-State Radiology Center offers same or next day appointments, and they accept most insurances, including Medi-Cal. They have a wide-open MRI and offer digital x-rays with your reports ready in 24 hours. Call them today for an appointment at 928-460-7226. Remember, it's Taco Tuesday. Go down to Street Tacos and get your $1 tacos, but you got to remember to mention the Daily Dose. And we will see you here tomorrow. Tomorrow night, I am endeavoring, one of my favorite words, to get Dr. Cardone or somebody from the school board on here to talk a little bit about some of the happenings that they've had going on and maybe take some questions from you. So think about what your questions are, and hopefully we can get Dr. Cardone, or maybe we'll get Carrie Faring in here. We'll see. All right, everyone, thank you for joining us. I hope you have a great day, and we will see you here tomorrow.